They say time is money, but in this world, this hyper-connected, always-on, overstimulated world, time isn't the rarest thing anymore. Attention is. You can buy time. You can hire it, outsource it, automate it, but you can't buy your own focus back once it's scattered. Every scroll, every ping, every just one more moment you give away, it's gone. Not just the seconds, but the power behind them. And that's why so many people feel drained even before they begin. Because they think they're tired of work, but what they're really tired of is fragmentation. They've let the world slice their focus into 1,000 pieces, and now they mistake that exhaustion for laziness. But it's not laziness. It's attention poverty. Think about it. The richest people in the world aren't the ones who own the most stuff. They're the ones who own their time, their energy, their attention. They don't wake up and let the world hijack their minds. They decide what deserves their focus, and they defend it like treasure. Because focus, once mastered, multiplies everything. Your effort, your money, your learning, your influence. It's the hidden engine behind every success story you've ever admired. Edison didn't invent the light bulb because he was the smartest man alive. He did it because he was obsessed enough to try 10,000 times. Jobs didn't reshape the world with technology. He did it by focusing on simplicity when everyone else chased features. Da Vinci didn't create timeless art because he was lucky. He just looked longer, deeper, with more intensity than anyone else. That's what focus does. It transforms ordinary attention into creative power. It turns noise into meaning. And when you can hold that attention long enough, when you can stand still while the rest of the world panics and scrolls and runs, that's when your life begins to shift. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. In this world, distraction is cheap. Focus is expensive. And most people will trade their future for what feels good right now. They'll trade their calling for comfort, their growth for gossip, their discipline for dopamine. And then they'll wonder why their life feels chaotic. But not you. You wouldn't be here if you weren't searching for something more. You're tired of the noise. You're tired of living reactively. You're ready to reclaim your attention, to take back control of the one thing that shapes everything else. Because here's what most people don't understand. Focus isn't just mental. It's spiritual. It's how you tell the universe what matters to you. Whatever you give your attention to, you give life to. Feed distraction, and your potential dies quietly. Feed purpose, and your world starts to bloom. But focus doesn't come naturally, not anymore. Our brains weren't designed for this level of noise. They were built to hunt, to create, to observe, not to consume endlessly. And now we're stuck in a loop of stimulation, mistaking motion for progress. We open our phones before we open our eyes. We check notifications before we check our intentions. And every morning, before we've even thought our first thought, the world has already told us what to think about. But here's the escape, the reset button that most never press. Silence. You find your focus again the moment you stop trying to chase everything. Because true focus doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing less. From cutting the noise, the chaos, the unnecessary, from sitting in the stillness long enough for your mind to remember what actually matters. It's in that silence that your direction returns. It's in that stillness that your purpose whispers back. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. You'll want to distract yourself. You'll reach for the phone, the screen, the noise. But if you can resist, even for a few moments, something magical happens. You'll start to feel a power you forgot you had. The power to choose your focus, to choose your thoughts, to choose your life. Because your mind is not a container for information. It's a lens, and whatever you aim it at expands. Aim it at fear, and fear grows. Aim it at growth, and growth follows. Focus is the magnifying glass of destiny, and most people are burning their potential on things that don't even matter. You don't rise by fighting distractions one by one. You rise by choosing something worth focusing on. Something so big, so meaningful, so consuming, that everything else fades away. When you have a clear mission, distraction dies on its own. You stop fighting noise because you're tuned into something louder. Purpose. That's what keeps the visionaries going when everyone else quits. When Edison's lab burned down, he didn't mourn the loss. He rebuilt. When Disney went bankrupt, he didn't walk away. He dreamed bigger. When Lincoln failed in politics again and again, he didn't give up. He sharpened his resolve, because they weren't driven by the outcome. They were driven by focus with direction. And that's where the real power lies. Not in discipline for its own sake, but in discipline attached to purpose. It's not enough to say, I want to focus. You need a reason to. A why strong enough to make the noise irrelevant. When you find that, when you anchor your attention to something larger than yourself, the world can't pull you off course anymore. Because you stop reacting and start building. And that's when time starts working for you instead of against you. When you master focus, life doesn't suddenly get easier, but it gets clearer. And clarity is the beginning of freedom. Because most people aren't stuck because they don't have enough time. They're stuck because they've spread their attention across 100 meaningless directions. They wake up every day reacting to the world, mistaking activity for achievement. They're constantly busy, but never moving forward. Like a hamster sprinting in a wheel, burning energy, but going nowhere. But the ones who change the world, they walk differently. They move slower, yet they move with purpose, because their mind isn't fragmented. It's aligned, and alignment makes you unstoppable. You can feel that alignment in people who have mastered themselves. There's a stillness about them, a calm intensity. They don't chase, they attract. Because their attention is anchored so deeply, it bends reality around their vision. They understand what most people don't. Focus creates gravity, and gravity pulls opportunities, people, and results toward it. That's why the most powerful people you've ever met rarely talk about multitasking. They talk about momentum, because momentum is what happens when focus compounds. Think about it. Every time you give your full presence to one thing, you build a layer of depth, and those layers stack. That's how great musicians master their craft. That's how athletes dominate the game. That's how creators build legacies that outlive them. But the price of that depth is boredom. And that's where most people fall apart. Because focus requires repetition. And repetition feels dull. But what looks like boredom on the surface is transformation underneath. That's the paradox of mastery. The mind that can stay steady in monotony becomes capable of miracles. It's not about excitement, it's about endurance. And the reward for endurance is excellence. Every visionary you admire has walked through that fire. Every single one. Steve Jobs stared at the same design sketches for months, obsessing over millimeters. Michael Jordan shot thousands of free throws alone, in silence, long after practice ended. Writers, inventors, leaders, they've all learned to fall in love with the invisible process, because they know that when focus meets time, the world bends. And yet, focus isn't just about doing more. Sometimes it's about letting go. Letting go of the noise that doesn't serve you. Letting go of the people who drain your attention. Letting go of the endless need for approval. Because you can't hold your future if your hands are full of distraction. Every no you say to something trivial is a yes to something powerful. And every yes you give without thought is a leak in your destiny. So protect your focus like you protect your life, because they're the same thing. Guard your morning, guard your mind, guard your vision, because the world is full of thieves dressed as entertainment, and they'll rob your purpose quietly, until one day you look around and realize you've built nothing real. You can't lead a meaningful life if you let meaningless things own your attention. The truth is, most people are afraid of silence. They need constant noise to drown out the discomfort of being alone with themselves. But if you can face that silence, if you can walk into it without flinching, you'll meet the person you were always meant to become. So if you look out the noise, you'll hear your own thoughts clearly again. You'll start to recognize which ones are yours and which ones were planted there by others. And in that clarity, you'll find direction. You'll find strength. You'll find peace. That's what true focus gives you. Not just success, but serenity. Not just ambition, but meaning. Because when your attention stops being scattered, your soul stops being divided. You start to feel whole again. And from that wholeness, discipline stops feeling like punishment. It becomes devotion. Every act of focus becomes an act of worship, not to some external God, but to the highest version of yourself. You start building not out of fear, but out of purpose, not to prove something, but to express something. That's when focus becomes art. It's in that space, where vision meets patience, that true greatness is born. Because success isn't an explosion. It's a slow burn. It's the quiet accumulation of hours spent in concentration when nobody's watching. It's the invisible labor that compounds over months, years, decades, and when the results finally appear, everyone else calls it luck. But you'll know better. You'll know it was focus all along. And here's the part they never tell you. Focus doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are. Every time you resist distraction, you build integrity. Every time you stay on track, you strengthen your character. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you rewrite your identity. Until one day you stop saying, "I'm trying to focus," and you start saying, "I am focus." It's no longer something you do. It's something you are, because your attention and your identity are tied together. Whatever you focus on long enough, you become. If you focus on fear, you become smaller. If you focus on problems, you become anxious. But if you focus on growth, on learning, on creation, you become unstoppable. That's the transformation. That's the real wealth. Not money, not fame, not validation, but self-mastery. The ability to direct your mind anywhere, anytime, regardless of circumstance. That's freedom. That's power. That's peace. And once you've tasted that kind of focus, you'll never want the old life back. Because you'll see what others can't. You'll see how every notification is a test, how every distraction is a choice, and how every moment of stillness is an invitation, an open door to deeper creation. You'll start to realize that focus is love, the purest kind. When you give something your full attention, you're saying, "You matter. This matters." And when you give that same attention to your dreams, they start to bloom in return. So let time work for you. Let patience be your weapon. Let every second of focus be an investment in the future you're building. Because in the end, you won't be remembered for how many things you did, but for how deeply you lived, for how present you were, for how focused you became on what truly mattered. And maybe that's the ultimate secret of life. When you master focus, you stop chasing meaning, because you become it. Every breath intentional, every choice deliberate, every moment awake. So stay with what matters. Stay through the boredom, stay through the silence, stay through the storm of distraction until the noise fades and your purpose stands clear. Because once you cross that threshold, once you truly own your attention, nothing and no one can take it from you again. That's when you'll understand what the masters knew all along. Focus is not about narrowing your world. It's about expanding your power within it. The one who controls their attention controls their destiny.